In 1998, a young man from Shirebrook in Derbyshire walked onto a film set for the very first time. He was paid £5,000 for the entire job. His name was Jason Statham, and just a few years before that paycheck, he'd been selling fake perfume and counterfeit jewellery on London street corners to pay his rent. He had no acting training, he had no contacts. What he did have was 12 years on the British national diving team, a ranking of 12th in the world, and a face that looked like it had been carved out of a brick wall. 25 years later, that man is one of the highest-paid action stars alive. His films have grossed over $8.5 billion worldwide, and tucked away across his properties in Beverly Hills and Malibu sits a private car collection that almost nobody outside his closest circle has ever seen in person. Statham is famously private about his life off-screen. He doesn't post Instagram photos of his garage. He doesn't show up to cars and coffee meets. There's a Lamborghini he bought to chase a single memory from a film set. There's a Porsche so dangerous to drive that the manufacturer themselves nicknamed it the Widowmaker. And there's one car so rare that only 500 of them exist on the planet, and the story of how Statham ended up with one of them tells you exactly the kind of man he is. Most fans have no idea what's actually in that garage. So before we go any further, lock in. This is the man behind the transporter, off the screen, and these are 10 hidden cars Jason Statham keeps private. Number 10. The Audi S8. You'd think the cheapest car in Statham's collection would be tucked away and forgotten. It isn't. The blacked-out Audi S8 is the car he uses when he wants to disappear, and that's precisely why it earns its spot. The whole point of the S8 is camouflage. From the outside, it looks like a slightly aggressive executive saloon, the kind of car a senior accountant might drive to the airport. Inside it, you've got over 560 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and enough quiet menace to tear past a Ferrari without anyone in the next lane realizing what just overtook them. That is exactly the kind of car a man who hates being recognized would own. For Statham, this car is also the closing chapter of a longer story. He drove an Audi A8 in the Transporter sequels back in the 2000s. Director Louis Leterrier personally went to Audi in 2004 to lock in that partnership, and Audi happily handed over the cars in exchange for the publicity. Statham went on to film a Super Bowl advert for them in 2009. The S8 in his garage today is what loyalty looks like when nobody is filming you. Number 9. The Jaguar XJR. The XJR is Jaguar's last great super saloon, the one they built before the entire model line was retired forever. Statham's example is finished in a deep, understated paint, the kind of color a man chooses when he doesn't want to draw attention. Here's what makes the XJR interesting. Most action stars in Statham's bracket would never be caught dead in a four-door saloon. They want supercars. They want statement pieces. Statham, on the other hand, owns 3 different Jaguars, and the XJR is the most British of them all. It's a £5,500 cruise missile dressed in a businessman's suit. 543 horsepower from a supercharged V8 hidden inside a body shape that looks like it should be ferrying judges to court. Statham grew up in Derbyshire. The Jaguar saloon was the car of choice for the kind of men he watched as a boy, the ones who'd made enough money to be comfortable but never wanted to look like they were trying. When Statham bought one of these, he wasn't buying a status symbol. He was buying the car that, growing up, had quietly told him you'd made it. Number 8. The Jaguar F-Type SVR. British racing green, the most extreme F-Type Jaguar ever built, and one of the few cars in Statham's collection that exists for a single, simple reason. He liked the noise. The F-Type SVR has one of the most theatrical exhausts ever fitted to a production car, an explosive, popping, crackling soundtrack that turns every motorway junction into a small event. Statham first drove an F-Type during the filming of Furious 7, where his character Deckard Shaw used one in several scenes. He liked it so much he went out and bought the SVR variant, finished in the colour every British schoolboy associates with Le Mans winning racing cars. The SVR was Jaguar's parting shot at the sports car market, a car that proved the company could still build something genuinely thrilling before the whole industry shifted to electric. There is no deep philosophical reason Statham owns this car. Some men just want a green Jaguar that sounds like a thunderstorm. He is one of them. Number 7. the two Audi R8s. He owns two of them, one black, one white, and almost nobody in the public has ever seen them parked side by side. That's the strangest part of this entry. Most actors would be embarrassed to own two near-identical supercars. Statham keeps them at separate properties, one in Beverly Hills, one in Malibu, so that wherever he happens to be staying, the right car is already in the driveway. The white one is the showpiece. The black one is the working car, the one that gets used for actual driving, the one that has the stone chips and the brake dust to prove it. The R8 itself is a 10-cylinder mid-engined supercar that does everything a Lamborghini does at roughly half the price, with none of the drama. You can take it to a school run, you can take it to a film premiere, you can park it outside Tesco, and nobody will key the bonnet. Statham has been photographed in his cars over the years, but the two R8s, owned for over a decade, have rarely appeared together in any single frame. Most people who know him don't even know there are two of them. Number 6. The Aston Martin DBS Volante. This is the moment the British actor finally bought the British icon. Statham's DBS Volante is finished in black, with the roof down most of the time he's seen in it. It is, by some distance, one of the most quietly beautiful cars ever badged with the Aston Martin wings. A naturally aspirated V12, a 6-speed automatic, and a body shape that has not aged a single day since the car left production in 2012. Aston Martin has always been the Bond car. Statham has spent his entire career playing the kind of role that, in another universe, might have led to a Bond audition. He's the right age. He's the right intensity. He's British. He's never said it publicly, but there's a reason a man like Statham buys a black DBS Volante and not, say, a Porsche Cabriolet. This is the car of a man who, somewhere in the back of his mind, has thought about what the alternative version of his career might have looked like. The DBS Volante is the closest he was ever going to get to that audition. So he bought one anyway. If you're still here, you're already past the point where most people drop off these videos. Hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying it, and let me know in the comments which of these cars you'd actually take home. Top 5 coming up. Number 5. The Porsche 911 997 GT2. The car Porsche themselves nicknamed the Widowmaker. Statham's 997 GT2 is finished in white with bright yellow brake calipers, 530 horsepower, rear-wheel drive only, manual gearbox only, no traction control safety net worth speaking of. Porsche stripped this car down to its bare bones, removed the rear seats, removed the sound deadening, and produced something that scared even experienced racing drivers half to death. The GT2 earned its terrifying reputation honestly. There are well-documented stories of new owners writing them off in the first week. There is no romantic backstory to this purchase. There is no childhood dream attached. Statham bought this car for a reason that 95% of the men watching this video understand instinctively. Sometimes you've made enough money. Sometimes you've achieved enough things. And sometimes the only thing left that genuinely entertains you on a wet Sunday morning is the prospect of climbing into a car that might actually try to kill you. The Widowmaker delivers exactly that, every single time. He's owned it since 2009. He's barely been seen in it. That's exactly how he likes it. Number 4. The Ferrari F12 Berlinetta. The first Ferrari Statham ever bought. And the spec list reads like a man who walked into Ferrari TaylorMade with a blank check and absolutely no intention of leaving until the car was perfect. Statham ordered this F12 in 2014. The standard F12 was already a 730 horsepower V12-powered Grand Tourer, the most powerful road car Ferrari had ever built up to that point, second only to the LaFerrari. But Statham didn't want the standard car. He wanted custom paint in a shade called Grigio Titanio Metallizzato, a metallic grey almost no other customer specified. He wanted the carbon fibre racing seats. He wanted a carbon fibre steering wheel with built-in LED rev lights. He wanted black Alcantara carpet running through the boot, adaptive front lighting, red brake calipers, leather running across every surface that would normally be plastic. The total options bill came to over $130,000 on top of the base price. The final sticker on the windscreen read, $446,514. That made Statham's car one of the most expensive F12 Berlinettas ever sold new in America. He kept it for around 5 years. He drove it. He genuinely drove it, putting just under 21,000 miles on the clock, which is a remarkable amount of use for a Ferrari at this price point. And then in 2019, when he was finished with it, he quietly handed the keys to a dealer in California and let it go for $229,000. He'd had his fun. He moved on. Number 3. The Lamborghini Murcielago LP640. Burnt orange, 12 cylinders, scissor doors, bought to chase a memory. In 2005, Statham filmed The Transporter 2 in Miami. One of the most iconic chase sequences in the entire franchise involved a bright orange Lamborghini Murcielago roadster, and Statham spent days behind the wheel of that car for the close-up shots. He was 38 years old. He was 3 years past his breakthrough as Frank Martin, and he had, by his own admission later, fallen completely in love with the noise that V12 made under his right foot. He couldn't afford one at the time. Years later, when he could, he didn't go and buy the latest, fastest, most modern Lamborghini available. He went and bought the closest possible thing to that exact car from that exact memory. The LP640 is the natural successor to the original Murcielago, launched a year after he filmed Transporter 2, and Statham specified his in the same brutal orange he'd been driving on screen. This car, more than almost any other in his collection, is a man trying to bottle a moment. Most of us do it with photographs. Statham did it with 6.5 litres of Italian V12. Number 2, the McLaren 720S Spider, dark grey, open top, 710 horsepower, and the only car in this collection that Statham personally requested for one of his own films. When the script for Hobbs and Shaw was being put together in 2018, Statham went directly to the producers and asked for his character to drive a McLaren. He wanted the British connection. He wanted the brand association. McLaren agreed, and they didn't just supply the car, they supplied their entire factory, the McLaren Technology Centre in Woking, as a filming location for the climactic third act. Statham himself drove a 720S at Silverstone for the production. He was photographed leaning against one in the official film poster, and shortly after the film wrapped, he walked into McLaren Beverly Hills and bought the convertible 720S Spider for his own collection. The Spider is the open-top version of the same car, with a retractable carbon fiber hardtop that opens or closes at speeds of up to 31 miles an hour. With the roof down, it will still hit 202 miles per hour. With the roof up, 212. Almost nobody in the press has ever seen this car since the day it was delivered. Statham keeps it in Los Angeles, drives it sparingly, and has never once shown it off publicly. It might be his favorite car in the entire collection, and you would never know. Number 1. The McLaren Senna. Only 500 ever built. Named after Ayrton Senna, the greatest Formula One driver of his generation, who was killed at Imola in 1994. McLaren named this car after him because they believed it represented the closest thing to a Formula One car you could legally drive on a public road. Statham's Senna is finished in bright orange, an almost perfect match to the Murcielago in the same garage. 789 horsepower from a twin-turbocharged V8, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. A carbon fiber body so aggressive that the doors have transparent panels at the bottom, so the driver can see the curb of the racetrack while turning in. It is not a car designed for comfort. It is not a car designed for the school run. It is a road-legal racing weapon, and at over $1 million, it is the single most valuable car in Statham's entire collection. In July 2019, when his film Hobbs and Shaw premiered in London, Statham did something almost no other actor of his stature would have done. He didn't take the chauffeured limousine. He didn't take a black Range Rover with tinted windows. He drove the Senna himself, in central London traffic, through the rain, and parked it on the red carpet outside the cinema. That moment was the most public the Senna has ever been. Since that night, Statham has barely been seen in it. The car lives quietly in one of his properties, started occasionally, driven rarely, kept exactly the way the rarest McLarens in the world are meant to be kept. 500 of them exist on the planet. One of them belongs to a man who, 25 years ago, was being paid £5,000 for an entire film. Wherever the Senna is parked tonight, that's worth thinking about for a moment. That's the part of Jason Statham nobody really talks about. The cars are exotic, the spec sheets are insane, the prices are obscene. But underneath all of it sits a man from Shirebrook who has never once shown off. There are no Instagram garage tours. There are no glossy magazine spreads. There is just a private collection kept across two properties on opposite sides of the world, mostly out of sight, mostly out of mind. If you enjoyed this one, the next video on your screen is one you'll absolutely love. Cheers for watching.